Okay, so let's get the wee little video going and we'll get this party starting. No audio, Fred.
Let's try again.
Try it again.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, go.
All right, now we'd like to introduce our sponsor of today. We have Box Office, and we're going to let them throw their little video up as well and introduce them, and then we'll get on to Elizabeth.
Hi, everybody. This is Maureen from Box Office. It's nice to be here with all of you guys today. I'll be super quick, but so we run digital experiences for movie theaters, from getting traffic to your website, converting to ticket sales, and then analytics behind that. We have a musical background. So you got a tiny demo of our website manager and website builder, which is a really quick way to build websites.
Okay, got it. And my 1-year-old is gonna be with me, so okay. And it should take no longer than like 10 minutes, right?
Someone forgot to get on mute.
Trying to mute.
Oh, okay.
To go through a mute.
Anyways, so yeah, if you have any questions, reach out. This is a brief overview of the suite of products that we have. Always happy to respond to any questions. So thank you very much, and happy holidays, everybody.
You could tell us a little bit more. We didn't mean to cut you off, Maureen.
No, that's okay.
Minutes. Tell us a little bit.
I mean, you know, it's again, like traffic, so SEO services, social media, things that can, you know, get people to your websites, and then websites, mobile apps, online ticketing, food and beverage, everything related to loyalty. Like the goal is really to drive as many ticket sales as possible, and then after that is giving you the way to analyze your ticket sales and analyze your traffic, and then retarget the customers that you have to make sure that they keep coming back. So we're excited to work with all exhibitors out there on this digital journey.
Awesome. Is there anybody that you've helped tremendously in their career path since you've worked with them? Any great success stories?
Yeah, I mean, we work with over 200 or 300 exhibitors in the US, and 400 in Europe. So there's quite a few out there. But yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you for being our sponsor today. So hi, everybody. Welcome to the Women in Exhibition Speaker Series. And we have this amazing guest today, Elizabeth Frayne from AMC Theater. She's Chief Content Officer. So one of the things we realize is that people know what Elizabeth does, but we would like to get a little bit of her backstory. So the question I'm going to ask is going to be a little basic, but we'll get to the meat of her work as well. So Elizabeth, welcome. And the first question we'd like to know is, what's your origin story? Where'd you come from?
So thank you, Heather, for this invitation to join this this terrific group, and thank you for Maureen for the sponsorship of this event, for making it happen. And happy holidays to everyone, and of course, happy day before Avatar, which we're all counting on to
I know.
strong. My origin story: I grew up on the East Coast before moving to Kansas City, where I am now with AMC. I started working in the movie business then. In high school in Connecticut, I was an assistant at an independent distribution company that my father founded when he left HBO years and years and years ago. And it was a terrific job. There was so much to learn in the company. It was growing. People were getting promoted and trying new things, and there were always new roles and opportunities. For me, it was a really collaborative and entrepreneurial and creative group. And as my role evolved, I remember most was this critical bridge between the content and the consumer, that the distributors play and the exhibitors play together. And I, for a time, was a copywriter on the creative services team. And so I wrote, just to date myself, I wrote the copy that was on the back of the VHS and beta
Wow.
that consumers would pick up off the shelf when deciding what they wanted to buy or rent for the weekend. And I focused on horror film. We had a lot of B minus horror films. And we were churning them out. So that's why you would have the intern actually writing package copy. And in that lesson, though, which I think back on in my role today, was that the most effective copy wasn't about the movie. It wasn't a summary of what the plot was or even who was in it. It was taking that and understanding what would be compelling to the consumer. So it was, what is it about this movie that's going to make someone read it and say, I have to take this home. I'm going to spend my Friday night with this movie. So that's my origin story.
So interesting. You could have gone down another path and gone into marketing, right? But you kind of went into content. So, right? Gave you a little bit of a context to your.
We're all in marketing, right? Some of us make without a license, but we're all getting to market films content to consumers.
All right. Where did you go to college?
I went to Lehigh, which is a mid-sized university in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, that has a terrific undergrad business program, where my dad went. So that was got the easy family vote.
Did he lean on you to go there? Like, come on, you got to go to my school? Did he lean on you to go there?
No, but when you've got something that's going to be an easy sell.
All right. So what are some of your favorite hobbies?
As a wife and a mom and a daughter, and a volunteer with a global health organization called AmeriCares that I've been involved in for since high school, since that same time as an intern. My other intern gig was for a global health organization.
And what is AmeriCares? What are they all about?
Excuse me?
I said, what is AmeriCares about?
AmeriCares is a global medical organization. We do emergency response, delivering medical supplies and medicines after an earthquake or a flood, or in the Ukraine today in situations of conflict. And we also do health development programs supporting hospitals and clinics around the world who are short on, they have the facilities, and in most cases they have the doctors and nurses trained to be able to deliver healthcare, and they're missing a lot of what the US and Europe has in more advanced medicines and supplies, better equipment, better training, and technology tools.
Well, so did you spend a lot of time with that as well with your role? with
Yeah, so I
AMC?
actually spent a few years working full-time for them, in between being Time Warner, and AMC. And I'm on the board now, so I travel back and forth every quarter to spend some time with the leadership team.
Good to know. All right. Is there any book that you've read recently that you might want to share with us?
So just recently reread The Longevity Economy, in thinking about how we bring the full audience back to theaters. And one of the groups that is both fast growing in our country and a little bit slower to be back in our theaters are older Americans. And by the way, also older Europeans back to our Odeon screens and older audience back to theaters around the world. And so this book is just an interesting perspective, not about COVID or post-COVID, but about the unique needs and interests of consumers as they grow up and age, and how we can be thinking, especially as an entertainment service, about what we have to provide to them to make their experience as compelling and worth getting off the sofa for as it was when they were teens.
And if you wouldn't mind, if you would put that in our chat, maybe somebody here that's on the video would like to look at that book as well.
Sure, happy to.
Okay, next question. Who is one person that you would say you admire?
Well, you'd emailed this to me before, and I don't know that I'm like there are hundreds of people who I admire for different reasons, and I actually think it's important that we really we're open to learning from so many others with different perspectives and different experiences. So rather than not answer your question at all, I did think for a second about what are the attributes that I admire most in people.
I love that.
And I think especially highlighted over the past year, I admire the ability to face adversity with a positive outlook and an orientation to make a difference, to change the outcome both for yourself and your community. I value and respect the ability to balance confidence and humility, to trust others and be worthy of others' trust, and to really make an effort through the eyes of others.
Wow, I'm glad you framed the question that way, or the answer that way, because it gives us a little insight. And if you were to say it's my dad or somebody else, at least we would know what drew you to that conclusion. I love that. Since you already answered what you did before AMC, now I understand you had two roles when you were Senior VP of Strategy and Strategic Partnerships, and now you're in Worldwide Programming and Chief Content Officers. Tell us about those two roles and how do they differ?
So I think like many exhibitors, AMC has gone through over the course of 100+ years of history, many different generations, from being a founder-led entrepreneurial business through then more corporate reincarnations. When I joined the company in 2010, we were owned by a consortium of private equity groups, and that strategy role was looking for the private equity firms who had made their investment, figured out how to unlock value, financial value in the theater business, and were then looking to exit and transition the business to either a independent public company or a strategic buyer. And so my role then was, I would say, a bit of an ancillary role. So working with the board, the financial sponsors, with our joint ventures and other investments, and then potential investors. And then we sold the company ultimately through that process in a couple of years, sold AMC from its private equity ownership to Beijing-based Wanda, which is one of the largest private companies in the real estate and entertainment business in China. And at that point, we transitioned my role to go from the ancillary to the core, to focus on AMC's programming and promotional capability, partnering with our marketing teams and our operations teams to grow the business organically. So again, more from the M&A and the joint venture to the core, growing the business organically.
I love it. So what's your favorite part about your job working for AMC?
I like that there's always something new, and it's a 100-year-old business, so there's always something to learn from that we've done before. You're building on a strong platform, a great reputation, and a consumer understanding of what we do, and what a terrific experience we sell.
Now, how has the pandemic affected you guys?
So we've had,
Loaded question, right?
excuse me?
I said the loaded question.
Right. So like so many, like all of us, right? We've had to be more agile. It's been, it was always a business of highs and lows. But it's obviously the lows got a whole lot lower than any of us could have imagined. And so that required us to be that much more agile and decisive to get through some of those tough times. And then as we build back the business and focus on recovery, I think we've got more hustle than we did before. And both the agility and the hustle and the stronger collaboration between exhibition and distribution, I think are going to position the industry better. You know, we talk build back better is probably an overused expression, but I think in this case, we really will learn and grow and be stronger for having had the very, very difficult couple of years that we've had.
And when you say you hustle a little bit more, what are some of the things that you had to shift to make that happen?
So we rolled out, we expedited some of our technology development during the COVID shutdown, and then that immediate time post shutdown to be able to offer transactional video on demand on our digital platforms,
Yep.
a way of continuing to engage consumers. We figured out, which we talked about for years, but it took this moment to then find the urgency to have the private theater rental business be integrated into our website and our app to allow someone to book a birthday party or a holiday gathering at the movies. That also, I mean, that's that kind of, when I say hustle, it's being able to identify a consumer need or an operational problem and solve it quickly, and maybe not perfectly. I think we've a lot of what we've learned is to roll out fast with a solid solution and then innovate and iterate.
I like that. Okay. So what is one thing that people in the exhibition say that you disagree with?
Well, so at the risk of offending so many folks on the call, every time someone says it's just about butts and seats, it just rubs me the wrong way. I think that
Okay.
I think that implies that we're some kind of utility or some kind of commodity. And I think we're both selling something which is at a consumer level discretionary. Someone can choose or not choose to go to the movie, and their life will go on just as well. And I think more importantly, we're selling a treat. And so I think it's much more about putting smiles on faces than butts in seats. And that together exhibition and distribution have both an opportunity and an imperative to make it worth it to consumers to get off their sofa and open their wallet and come spend a few of their precious hours with us. And so that making that experience worthwhile for them so that they leave thinking as they walk out of our doors, when do I want to come back? What do I want to see next? That's really the essence we're all playing for.
I love that. Okay, let's see here. So what's your take on theatrical windows?
So it's important, as I said, for consumers to have a reason to get off the sofa and open their wallet. And I think we've learned a lot. We certainly experimented. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we would have said desperate measures in these desperate times. And it felt like some of the like playing stuff that's on the television the same day, like it really was so desperate, both a desperate measure and such a desperate time. And we all did what we did what we had to do. And I think importantly, we learned so much from it. And what we learned, in my mind, is that there are fewer consumers who are saying, if I could see this at the same time in any format, that I'm willing to get in the car and drive and pay $10 or $15. That they would, some say it's better. Most say it's that the films they choose to see are better on the big screen, even for the inconvenience and even for the expense.
That's me. Yeah.
But it's still a hard choice to get them to make. And so exclusive windows are important as a reason to have people want to come see the film. And it's better for the film economics, better for the filmmaker and their audience engagement and their career development if the first time you see the movie as a consumer, it's on the big screen. People like the movies better when they're on the big screen. And that then again propels both more movie going in theaters, and it also propels more movie watching at home.
Yeah, it's good marketing to go watch it somewhere else.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so what's your position on streaming partners?
So we source content, I would say from anyone and everyone. From Disney to independent, independent producers, independent distributors, and I think streaming companies and other television production companies have the potential to be strong providers of content for both for us and for our consumers, and good business partners as well. It's pretty amazing that, in the past couple of weeks, Fathom Events partnered with a group that focuses on YouTube content with The Chosen, and made real business and lots of great consumer experiences by premiering The Chosen in theaters. So I'm excited about what we're going to see going forward, more from Netflix, however they want to characterize it, whether they want to talk about it as their core business, right, or it's going to be great business for them, it'll be great business for us, and it'll be really good entertainment value for all of our consumers when we pick the right films and put them in theaters on the right dates that are, like, again, the fun occasion for the consumer matched up with the film that they want to see, and put marketing behind it. Back to my horror film thing, right? That says, this is why you want to see this movie in the theater. So I'm excited about the future of theatrical and streamers as content partners.
And what are you guys doing? Are you adding new technology? Are you guys expanding at all with like esports or events or anything like that?
We're always experimenting. We're learning from other people's experimenting as well. I think it's one of the things that I think is a real strength of our whole industry is the degree to which everyone's experimenting. Some, like AMC, at a national scale, some exhibitors that are single theater exhibitors, really figuring out what their local community is looking for. And I think we all have a lot to learn from each other that will make us collectively bigger and stronger.
Okay, so now we're going to get to some more fun questions before we open it up to the audience. What's your favorite way to see a movie?
With my husband and a glass of wine. And
okay. And do you go for the big comfy seats? What's your style that you prefer to watch?
Oh, it kind of depends on the movie. So, for a date night movie, I do. I like one of our recliner theaters. For, if we're going to get ready to see Mission Impossible, I'm excited to see that in IMAX. I'm excited to see Avatar in Dolby Cinema. So a little bit of everything.
I love that. Okay. So what's your favorite movie snack?
Popcorn. Well, and wine. I do think that I think putting wine and beer and cocktails in theaters was a really
Sign me up.
innovation.
Yeah.
Not
I
easy
love having my, yeah,
alcohol
love it.
licenses. Yeah, but worth the effort.
Okay. Do you have a favorite actor or actress?
I don't really. I kind of fall into the characters more than the actor, right? So so I don't know.
I'll watch anything with Jessica Chastain. Like I'll go find her. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. You have a favorite, what's your favorite genre then?
So I love a comedy in theater.
Okay.
Love it. And if there were one thing that if someone handed me a magic wand and I could change one thing about the industry, I'd have more comedy on our screens.
Note to self. I love that. Do you have a favorite movie of all time?
I don't. I answer the question differently every time.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Okay. Now, is there anything that you want to share with the audience that we should know about you?
I am excited about the future of our business. It's not going to be easy to get us fully recovered. We still have some runway ahead, and it's not going to come back on its own. I think if there were one beyond the butts and seats thing that I think is underplays the value of the movie experience we're trying to deliver, I also think the idea that people will come back is an unfortunate projection. I think we collectively are going to get consumers back, and we're going to be able to, again, working together, have more people come more often to enjoy movies in theaters. And I think if we don't all lean into that, it doesn't happen by itself.
I love that. All right, I'm just going to open up the room and start saying hi to people and let them say hello to you. So let me get to my screen so I can see the faces. Let's see, gallery view. All right. So when I call on you, take yourself off mute. Rebecca Polly, I'm going to start with you.
Hi, Elizabeth. It's good to see you. I'm a big horror fan, especially of cheesy VHS era, 80s stuff. I was wondering if can you remember any of the ones that you wrote copy for, or like, does anything come to mind as like, did anything stick? I know that's like, it kind of blends together.
So I was going to say Goonies, but I'm afraid actually that Goonies, I might not have been senior enough to work on Goonies. I feel like I was working like one tier below it. I know, which really puts you in your place, right? Because you didn't think Goonies was that high on the list. But Blood-Sucking Freaks may have been the first title.
Oh, wow. I don't know if I like it, but it's...
No, I had not thought about it in a long time. I don't think I watched them. When I started working on it, I was just shy of my 17th birthday. So I think some of them I wasn't actually allowed to rent.
You're just like, I hope this is accurate.
I know. I did watch. I mean, I watched them. I wasn't, not from the door, but it was so, the interesting thing about it was I'm not really a horror film fan. I get really jumpy and then cover my eyes. And so it was good to learn who was the horror film fan, and were they also jumping and covering their eyes, or did they, like, how much of the film were they really watching, and was it for the excitement of it, or it's rarely for the story, but what's the motivator?
Yeah, and the horror fans we're hardcore. We'll go to the theater
Totally
for just about
hardcore.
anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to move on to Mama T. I'm going to try to get through as many people as I can. Mama T wants to say hi before she has to go. Unmute, sweetie. There you go.
How are you?
Hello.
I believe we met before, and life is insane, but what I like to do is I like to do what Rebecca Polly has captioned as the Zelfie. So it's a Zoom selfie, and I was hoping that you would be willing to do a selfie with me.
I don't know how to do that. Do I have to do the technology?
Oh, no, all you have to do is sit there and look beautiful, and you're doing that anyway. So, just say cheese and I will do the rest. I'm actually working on a different computer today, so I need to figure out how to do it. But, and also thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure, and I love everything you do. So thank you so much. So, all right. All right. Smile really big.
There she
And
goes.
let's see. 1, 2, 3. Cheese.
Cheese.
And there you go. Thank you so much. And I will happy holidays to everyone. And
Great.
I hope to see everyone soon.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So I'm going to go for Thomas McCalla, and then I'm going to go for Teresa English. Thomas McCalla, you there, bud?
Oh, I'm here. I don't know if you can see me or not. I'm on my phone.
All right. Say hi to Elizabeth.
Hello, Elizabeth. How are you?
Hey there, fine. We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Oh, fantastic. I think you're absolutely right on the money that we will be coming back, but it we through effort and coordination, planning, and looking at the world from different eyes. And it will come back based on that. But to think that it will come back just on its own, I think is unrealistic. I think you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it would be nice if we could sit back a little bit, but I don't think that's in the cards.
No. But I have faith in the future too, and I really like listening to what you had to say. It's exciting. I take it you're still enjoying yourself in the business.
Yes, very much so. And you?
Yes. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
What are you most excited about?
I think that coming out of the pandemic and the new eyes, new views, and everything else is going to allow people to have new stories, new ways of looking at things, and then the way we experience them, especially as Gen Z starts really taking hold, is going to create a whole new chapter for everybody. I think it's exciting.
I agree.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to move on to Teresa English.
Hey, Elizabeth,
She always has great questions.
thank you so much for your time today. And I loved what you said about the treats, it being a treat to go to the movies and the smiles. I think that's a really great message to take forward. I guess I wanted to ask what you thought was a piece of content that you were kind of on the fence on or thought it was risky and loved how audience responded to it and it like exceeded your expectations, kind of the hidden gem that you felt was a risk at the time and worked out really well.
I think that it's such a good question. I think there are some, I would say, movies that matter where you're not sure if it's going to come, where it's the balance between being inspirational, engaging and entertaining and inspirational versus being kind of preachy. And I think that someone mentioned, I guess one of the speakers in the series before I had written Green Book. And I think that was such an example, but also Green Book, Just Mercy. I want those films back. I think they're good for us and they're good for our consumers to leave theaters and feel like you're a little bit a better person for having seen the movie. And they're hard because sometimes they don't quite connect as much. And then you feel just a little lectured too.
Yeah. Thank you. Good question. Great answer. Melissa Boudreau has her hand raised. Melissa, would you go next, please?
Hi, thanks Elizabeth for the time. Appreciate it. Happy holidays, everyone. Great to see you all. Just a question about your, obviously at AMC, such a big company. As a female leader there, do you feel like you've had any barriers to getting into positions, and then how have you overcome them? Obviously, mostly a group of, women in exhibition here, always looking to learn ways to grow and past barriers?
So I think it's difficult for all people who are, we're all professionals, to be trying to be everything to everyone. And so it's not a unique female issue. I do think it is, though, exacerbated for many women who say yes more than no, who have more home responsibilities on balance, not in every household, but in many households, you still have a majority of the family responsibility falling female versus male. And that, I think, some of the strength that comes out of that is an ability to be organized and to be results focused and to get through the work, to be able to then get other things done. Sometimes people talk about it as work-life balance, and it never feels balanced, but it is being really productive. The risk of that, or the cost of that productivity, is that we aren't spending the same amount of time either promoting our accomplishments or building relationships beyond the results, beyond the collaboration that gets today's job done today. I don't think we're investing the same amount of time in building the networks and the relationships that will sow the seeds for some of our next opportunities. And so it's I know for myself, I've had times when I've done that, and it's been rewarding and rewarded. And there are other times where I'm like flat out just trying to keep the balls in the air and get the work done. And over time, I can feel that that's like at the expense of my own development.
Is that good answer for you, Melissa? Okay. Next we have Yadu.
Hi, glad to have you here. I think I'm audible, right? It's quite late midnight over here on the other side of the clock, and happy vacation to everyone over here. And my question to host is the AMC Independent. Could you explain that how the submission of features go into AMC Independent through the website, and how is the whole process? And as a director, as a producer, this is my directorial debut where I produced a feature, and I would like to know if AMC, how does they consider independent movies as a filmmaker when you proceed, and what is the options to do a theatrical, even if it's a day in, day out? How does you go about independent films, and how does the whole process of AMC independent feature submission process takes place?
Thank you so much for asking. It's really important to AMC to be sourcing content broadly and to be thinking inclusively about making sure that the diverse audience that we seek to serve sees a full menu of options, of entertainment options for them. And independent films play a really important role in that. I'd answer the question two ways. We have for years and years, under the leadership of Nicole Denson Randolph, who's on this call, had a commitment to independent film, such that you can submit through our website. There's email contact information to be able to talk to someone on Nicole's team about what the film is, and critically who wants to see the film. Like, as I said, like we're connecting content to consumers, and for us, the question is always who's going to want to see the film that's been produced. And one part of that's the actual film, the creative material, and the other part of it's the marketing that's planned to connect it, to drive awareness and excitement, compel people to buy tickets. So that's the question about independent film, is that it comes through. We have a team of people focused on it. And we're open. We answer the phone and return the email, and we're open. The second piece is the consumer facing piece. And more recently, over the past few years, we've made a significant commitment to our films have more depth and in their